Hello. Uh, this will be a brief video. I will not make any device configurations in this video. I have been studying the wireless part from the OCG Volume 2 book, which is in part 1. I finished reading part 1. Part 1 doesn't really involve any tangible practical examples. A lot of concepts and terms are mentioned very superficially, and it doesn't really do you a lot of favors in terms of configuring a wireless network. So I have been using Gemini for learning, and I wanted to share what I have learned so far. Now, my initial question was, by the way, Gemini suggested this topology. Gemini says that this is the kind of setting that would be used in an enterprise. Initially, I started making applications like this because it looks as though everything is on a single line in the OCG book. This one-arm topology is not really emphasized, or maybe it is not even mentioned at all. And then I tried doing this, and then Gemini suggested to carry this server to the switch as well. So this network uses a layer 2 switch, and because layer 2 switch is not capable of routing packets, we need a router. This is a router on a stick configuration. And my initial question was about the way I approach while learning wireless network is how it works from the very beginning. Now, we assume there's a server, and the server will distribute IP addresses to the clients, to the devices, and only we configured the wireless LANs on the switch, virtual LANs on the switch, and we set this router as a router on a stick router. It has sub-interfaces, and it is a DHCP relay agent. So these are the assumptions we make. The controller is out of scope of this discussion. We're only interested in the AP, the switch, the router, and the server. So my initial question was, if multiple IP address pools were defined in this DHCP server, how would the DHCP server know from which pool it would assign an IP address to the AP, let alone the clients that associate with the AP? But let's keep this also out of the scope of this discussion. Let's assume sorry. Let's assume this AP is powered on, it wakes up, and it needs an IP address. We didn't configure it in any way other than relying on the DHCP assignment. When the access point wakes up, because it's not a switch or a router, it doesn't know anything about VLANs. The first thing it does is making a broadcast request, asking for searching for a DHCP server. When the access point wakes up, it sends a broadcast message, says, I need an IP address. Are there any DHCP servers on this network? Now, when this message is generated, it doesn't have any VLAN information. It doesn't involve any VLAN information because access points do not know anything about VLANs. Because this message reaches the FA03 port of the switch, which we previously configured as a VLAN 440 port. This switch adds that message, says that this is a VLAN 40 message, and because this is a VLAN 40 network, this line, the switch will not broadcast the DHCP discovery message to any other VLANs. So it will not be sending this message to the VLAN. It will not send it out FA02 port. It will not send it to VLAN 20, VLAN 10. It will the broadcast scope is only VLAN 40 because it reached to this port, which is VLAN 40. Because we normally routers drop broadcast messages to avoid broadcast storms, but because we configured this router as a DHCP relay agent, the router will not drop the broadcast message. It will take the broadcast message, and the switch will say this message is coming from VLAN 40, and the message will reach to this router's point 40 subinterface. Now the router receives with this broadcast the DHCP request with the information added that says this is a VLAN 40 message, and then the router will turn this broadcast message into a unicast message destined for the DHCP server, and adds the information that this DHCP request belongs to VLAN 40, and that VLAN will have a network ID on this router. Let's say point 40 subinterface will have a 10040. This might not make sense. I'm not doing the math. Let's say this is the network ID. The router will add this information to the DHCP request, and then the server will receive it, and based on this network ID, the server will choose an IP pool to assign to reply the request. So this is how the access point will receive a specific an IP address from a specific VLAN pool, and this FA03 port has a significance in choosing what pool the AP receive its IP address from. So it's actually, I mean, there's a lot going on even at the very beginning of this application, and the OCG doesn't really mention any of this. It is very written very vaguely, and Gemini does a really great help. So I will be working on these. I just wanted to share what I have learned, which is very interesting, which I find very interesting. So thank you for watching.